Oh, what is the FCs, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXHockeyCast. We're on episode 136. Matt Zuccarello of My Little Hockey Show, where once a week I go through all the major news and what's happenings around the NHL, mainly focused in on the Leafs and the Flames. Those are my two favorite teams, but we'll be discussing all 32 teams on this podcast. And if you've been living underneath a rock, you might not have heard about the massive trade that went down in the NHL this week. And let's just rip the Band-Aid off, y'all. Let's get into it. The massive trade. New York Islanders acquire Scott Perunovich from the St. Louis Blues for a conditional 5th-round pick in 2026. Now, this deal, it might be one of the biggest deals I have ever witnessed. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, everybody. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But hey, Scott Perunovich, at one point in the St. Louis Blues organization, was a highly touted defensive prospect. And now he's fetching a conditional 5th-round pick. So I guess St. Louis has lost belief in this player, and the Islanders are going to take a shot at him. And why not? I mean, the Islanders, you know, they don't have a lot of younger players in their development system that are like breaking through. I liked when they brought in Romanov from Montreal. He's fit in there pretty decently. Maybe Perunovich could be another one of those guys, maybe a change of scenery. I know he has struggled this year to get into a bigger role with St. Louis. He would love top 4, but they've been kind of giving him top 6 minutes. So maybe he'll get more opportunity there on the island. I know they have New York. They have Dobson is out, so they're looking for a little help on the blue line. So that should definitely help them out, and we'll see what happens with Perunovich. But, all right, let's get to the big kahuna. Let's get to the big bad trade. The Carolina Hurricane, Colorado, and Chicago Blackhawk 3-way trade that went down. So I'm not going to go into the crazy details because I imagine everyone's already heard those kind of details already, but we'll go through the trade, and then I will discuss what I think is going to happen with these trades. All right, so Carolina acquires Mikko Rantanen, Taylor Hall, and Nils Jorntorp, whatever that is. So, damn. Off the bat, Carolina wins this trade. They get the best player. And they got Taylor Hall, so pretty cool. Let's just talk about the Carolina part of this right now. So my worry is, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Mikko Rantanen, he's going to take that Colorado Mikko Rantanen, we're going to plop that right into Carolina. Is going to be seamless and flawless. Boom, no problem. Hold your horses. Carolina has a notorious hard system to get into. It's a man-on-man system. Not a lot of teams play that. I've seen a lot of players get traded to Carolina, and they struggle. One of the most the recent ones I can think of is Michael Bunting. He got traded over there. I think he got traded. And he struggled to get comfortable with that system. It takes a minute to get into that system, and Rod the Bod, we also know that Carolina isn't the flashiest high-scoring team, so I would, pump the brakes a little bit. I don't think Mikko Rantanen's going to be scoring 50 and getting 110-plus points in Carolina. That's just not how Carolina go. So I'm a little bit nervous especially if you are a fantasy owner of Mikko Rantanen right now, you might be sweating some bullets, and rightfully so, because Mikko Rantanen is a career Colorado Avalanche. He has been on a line with Nathan MacKinnon for years. They've won a Stanley Cup together. They have ridiculous chemistry. They know how to work with each other. They know the system of the Colorado Avalanche, and yeah, man, you're ripping them out of that. Now allegedly, Mikko Rantanen was blindsided by this trade. He had no idea it was coming. Come on now. I mean, all right. Probably, maybe not. I feel like, yeah, maybe he did think he was going to be able to stay, but the writing was on the wall, man. You know that he's asking for a lot. Numbers are all over the place on what this guy's asking. We see things up to $14 million, and last I saw, the last offer that Colorado offered Mikko Rantanen was $11.75 million. So that is quite a difference in terms of money, in terms of what both parties would want here. So yes, Colorado doesn't want to pay him more than Nathan MacKinnon, which is understandable, completely understanding of that. I even think Mikko Rantanen is fairly understanding of that, but the cap is exploding, it's going up big time, and players get paid by percentile, generally nowadays, not just, oh, I'm going to give you $10 million. No, they like to take a percentile, so I don't know what McKinnon's is off the top of my head. Probably like 13, 14% or something when he signed it. So Mikko, looking for something similar, the cap has risen since then, so yeah, it's going to be more, but Colorado's putting their foot down like, nah, we're not going to pay you more than Nathan MacKinnon, and on top of that, they have Cale Makar coming up. And Cale Makar could very easily get 14, 15, who knows, $16 million by the time that contract is up. He's already took a bargain of a contract this time around, so he's going to cash in on the next one. He's going to have to, and Colorado, I think, has made that decision. They're looking way into the future, smart, and they made a very difficult decision right now to cut Mikko Rantanen, not wanting to make the mistake that the Toronto Maple Leafs have, where they are paying 30-40% of their salary on a handful of players. That's just not how you're going to win a Stanley Cup in this league. So they're seeing that. Of course they would love to keep Mikko Rantanen, but they just know that they can't put that much money into three baskets. They know they got to pay. Well, McKinnon's already getting paid. Makar's coming, and Mikko Rantanen, sadly, he's just not as good as Makar or McKinnon. He would be the best player on so many teams, but he is the third best player on the Colorado Avalanche. So yeah, they got to cut bait with him. It is what it is. So with Carolina getting Rantanen, what are they getting? Well, this could potentially be the Kawhi Leonard trade, as it was for the Raptors when they finally traded DeMar DeRozan. Love that man. I love DeMar DeRozan, but we all knew it. Like, we need something more here. We need a bona fide superstar that can battle with LeBron, and it's been proven that just DeMar and Kyle Lowry were not it. So they needed more, and they did it, and it fucking worked. And I'm looking at this trade right now. I'm looking at Carolina. They have been right on the cusp of winning that Stanley Cup. They've been so freaking close, but what do they always do? They run out of scoring depth. They can't get the goals once they get to that third round. It just dries up on them, and that's it. So they're a great defensive team. Now they add in a playoff monster. Now, like I said, you got to take it with a grain of salt because it's a completely different system. He's going from the west to the east. He is in a whole new world right now, and it's going to be overwhelming. It's going to take him a minute, man. Like, it's going to be that's why it's good that Carolina makes the trade now. Do it early. Let him get adjusted, so hopefully he is good to go by playoff time. He's all comfortable and understands what he needs to do. Hopefully build a little bit of chemistry with Sebastian Aho, something like that, right? So that's good. But, yeah, I don't think Rantanen is going to be the player that he was in Colorado. It's a different team, different system. I still expect him to be well over a point-a-game player. I would say he's the best offensive forward that they have on the team now. And you have really good ones. In Aho, you got no longer Necas. We'll get to him, but you got Svechnikov. Kotkaniemi is there still. We'll see how long that goes. But, yeah, man, Rantanen, he's one of the best playoff performers that in this generation right now. He's an absolute playoff beast. But again, you don't have McKinnon no more. Now, Sebastian Aho is a great player, but he's not Nathan MacKinnon. And we've seen what happened with Stamkos when he lost Kucherov. Like, Kucherov's ridiculous. Stamkos doing okay, but without Kucherov feeding him that puck, it's not the same anymore. So we'll see. This is definitely going to show off how good Mikko Rantanen is. Hopefully it doesn't ruin his chances at getting his money if he has a really bad run in Carolina and they bow out in the first round or something in the playoffs and he didn't really do anything. That could seriously hurt his value. And hell, maybe he ends up walking from Carolina and walks his ass right back to Colorado. Carolina would still have to sign this man. And it seems like they will. They want to. I can't guarantee that they will. I mean, they want to, but it's up to Rantanen at this point. I imagine they're going to do everything that they can, take him out on all the nice dinners, show him around town, and show him how good life can be in Carolina and make this guy stay. Because I think this is probably the biggest star that they have had on this, arguably their whole entire franchise. This might be the most talented player since Eric Stahl. So this is a huge boost for Carolina. I just, I'm happy they made the trade early because it's, Mikko didn't score in his first game. People were like, oh, fuck, here we go. He's terrible. Just give him a fucking second. So I think it's still a great addition for Carolina. Like I said, this could be their Kawhi Leonard trade where, yes, we have these players. They're good, but we need some, and we're going to have to sacrifice some good shit to get that. And they had to give up Necas and Drury to get Rantanen, but fuck. I think it's a trade that they needed to do. We'll see if it pays off. And yeah, I think Carolina's chances have gotten better, adding in Rantanen and Taylor Hall. My only concern with Carolina, as I imagine it is with their fans, is the goaltending. It's still a big question mark for me. Like, Freddie Anderson, is this guy ever going to come back and play healthy? And then Kochetkov, he's fairly unproven, but seems pretty good. But, that's you don't have a lot of confidence going in with that goaltender. Could he do it? Yeah, maybe. I mean, Cam Ward won a fucking Stanley Cup, so why not Kochetkov? Get hot at the right time. I don't think Carolina's done. I think they... I have heard that they have been looking at Gibson. There's interest there. Is that the answer? Who knows? Like, you can't guarantee that Gibson is going to be an amazing goalie for Carolina. But I don't think Carolina's done yet. I don't think this guarantees them a Stanley Cup necessarily, no. But it's definitely a shot, and it's definitely going to reverberate in the Eastern Conference. Like, Toronto, Boston, New York, all these teams that just saw what Carolina just did, they just added the biggest fish, and yeah, man, now all the other teams are going to be scrambling to try and do something of equalness to what Carolina just did because, well, no one's going to be able to do it, but they're going to try, man. We could see some hasty deals making here because there's also a an alleged stoppage of trading during the 2-week period for the Four Nation tournament or whatever. There's supposedly no trading there, so we could see some more trades prior. There's been tons of speculation about JT Miller and Pettersson. Deals sound close, but until it happens, we don't know yet. But we could see, especially in the East, we could see some shifting going around here, some antsy feet. And now that a big deal just got made, it usually opens the water gates a little bit here. So we'll keep our eyes open and see what happens with the trades. But back to Carolina, you also bring in Taylor Hall. That's not nothing, man. Like, Taylor Hall, former first overall pick. Yes, he was struggling this year on a shitty Chicago team, like just around half a point a game player right now. And, I could see, like, if you put Taylor Hall on a line with McKinnon, like, there could be some magic there, like similar how you put Drouin on a line with McKinnon. Like, McKinnon just has that magic, and, Connor Bedard's great, but he's not quite to that level yet where he's bringing up everyone around him. So maybe McKinnon can get more out of Taylor Hall, even though Taylor Hall is not on the Colorado Avalanche because I'm a moron. He's on Carolina. But if he played, I think it's a solid addition for Carolina to bring in Taylor Hall. I don't think he's going to be insane or anything. It's just a nice depth add right there. And the cool thing is, right now they're only paying Mikko Rantanen $4 million because Chicago retains 50% of Mikko Rantanen's contract, not Taylor Hall's. And apparently, Chicago didn't even know that. They're like, we don't even know who we're retaining on right now. And they end up retaining on Rantanen. So we'll get to the Chicago part, but you bring in Taylor Hall, some depth on the left wing. Nothing wrong with that. And you got Nils Juntorp. I don't know if he's usable, but yeah, he was tossed in there as well. So on the side of Carolina, I think they win this trade. Yes, you lose Necas and Jack Drury, but you bring in two players. Obviously, I think Mikko Rantanen is safe to say he's better than Necas. And Jack Drury, man, he's a good up-and-coming player. But that's the kind of things they didn't want to sacrifice Kotkaniemi for some reason. They don't want to trade him anymore, from what I'm hearing. But Jack Drury, center, upcoming guy, could be good for Colorado. So let's get to Colorado. They bring in Marty Necas. So Necas, we saw what he was doing early in the year. He was incredible. He was the leading scorer in the league. He was on fire, just couldn't stop scoring. There was a lot of speculation around Necas getting traded this summer. Instead, they signed him to a 2-year bridge. pretty cost effective, like $6 some odd million. Pretty fucking good considering what he's doing this season, and he's locked into next year as well. So Colorado brings in a guy on a little cost certainty, couple years of that, so that's good. That's what they're gonna need. And dude, I think easily Necas, he's gonna get that opportunity, man. I think he's not necessarily, I mean, he might be taking over for Rantanen's spot, and you get to play with Nathan MacKinnon. And Necas is probably going to get everything that he wanted in Carolina, and he's going to have more freedom to do so. He's going to get more ice time. He's going to have power play with Nathan MacKinnon, Makar. Like, yeah, I can see Necas flourishing very nicely with Colorado. And I think he's already put up 2 assists in, like, his first game or something like that. So, looking good early for Colorado. It's a smart move. Like, you bring in a very skilled player. No, he's not the horse that Mikko Rantanen is. He doesn't have the size and the power that he does. But he definitely has offensive skill. He absolutely is bringing that. He's a point-a-game player right now, and I think... And yeah, he was slowing down quite a bit. He had a pretty slow month there. But I think with the move and the shakeup, the excitement, I think he could get right back in there, man. I think he's going to do just dandy. He might be an opposite, like where he's coming out of a very kind of controlled, tight system, and he can go to Colorado and maybe open up, have a little more freedom on a line with MacKinnon. So if I was a Necas owner, I'd be fucking amped right now that he just went to Colorado, and they bring in Jack Drury, a nice center. They're still struggling to find that second-line center, man, ever since Kadri left. Middlestat just really hasn't been doing it all that much this year, man. Excuse me. He looked great early. When they first brought him in, he was outstanding. I was like, oh, man. Like, what was Buffalo thinking trading this guy? And Colorado found their second-line replacement for Kadri finally. And, yeah, not so much. So, Colorado isn't done either, folks. So, they're going to be doing some more shit. Maybe I don't think Kadri's going to be coming, but they could get something. So I don't think Jack Drury is the answer on that second-line center, but I like Jack Drury, man. I don't know a lot about this player, but I hear good things, so I'd be pretty excited as a Colorado fan, man. Like, you get in some young players here, cost certainty. Necas is a beast. I know they're hurting right now. They're very upset that they just lost Mikko Rantanen on a little bit of a blindside, but ever since I heard Chris Johnson kind of put that deadline out there that Colorado's got to figure this out before the deadline. Like, if they don't have him signed soon, he's going to get traded because they can't afford losing Mikko Rantanen for nothing. Even if they go on a big run and win another Stanley Cup, losing Rantanen for nothing after that, that's going to fucking hurt, man. It may not hurt right then during the parade and everything, but a few months in, yeah, you're going to be like, oh, fuck, what were we doing letting that guy walk? So you bring in a whole bunch of stuff. You get a second-round pick in 25. You get a fourth-round pick in 26 as well. And all the teams are saving a little bit of money, not a lot. I think Colorado ended up with like $1 million or something. They get a little bit more play money. And there's also the idea that Gabriel Landeskog could very well be on his way back. So if they have that information, they know that he's coming. They're going to have to free up a little more space there to get him back onto the team, which means there could be more trades, there could be waivers. They're definitely not done, and it could be a lot more if Landeskog is in fact coming. I don't know, but there is a chance, man. There's a pretty good chance that we do see Landeskog coming back this season. But yeah, man, it was a blockbuster deal, arguably the biggest trade that I have ever seen going down. I saw it kind of breaking through on Twitter. I thought it was a lie. I thought it was a rumor. I thought it was all fake. And then, bam, it's all official. Elliot Friedman reporting on it. I'm like, holy shit, dude. I can't believe that Rantanen just got traded. Absolutely insane. So, overall, if Carolina doesn't get Rantanen signed, because look at what happened with Gensel last year. They had all the money. They were willing to give him what he wanted, and he still decided to go to Tampa Bay. He didn't want to stay. They gave him whatever he wanted, but he was like, nah, I'm going to go to Tampa Bay. Who's to say that Rantanen, he doesn't have to stay there. He can easily walk his ass to free agency and cash the fuck in. Get 14, 14-5, 15, who knows, man? Like, Chicago is definitely going to be interested in a player like that. Try and bring in someone to help out Connor Bedard over there. You know they're looking at it. And, yeah, man, I'm a little bit nervous if I'm Carolina. Like, I appreciate the shot that they're taking because they've been close so many times, and it looks like this is their big shot, man. And this is not Carolina's bag. They don't generally do this kind of thing. They kind of started doing it last year with the Gensel trade, and yeah, they got even bigger this year with Rantanen. Fucking crazy. But what do y'all think? Do you think Rantanen will stay? Do you think he's going to walk to free agency? Or do you think he's just going to walk right back to Colorado? Take a semi-friendly discount, but there's no way that they could fit him back on the team, right? But regardless, ridiculously massive trade. Let's talk about the Chicago side, because they're getting quite a bit of heat out of this trade. So all Chicago did, they get themselves a third-round pick, and they retain 50% of Rantanen's contract. Now, what people aren't realizing is they also get out of the contract of Taylor Hall. They free up that $6 million. Yes, they take most of that and retain salary. They don't end up saving a lot of money here or gaining a lot of salary cap. Not that they really need it or anything, so I don't think it's all that big of a deal. Chicago doing what they can in the position that they're at. They're at the bottom of the league. They're rebuilding. They have space, so might as well use it and acquire a third-round pick. And apparently that is their own third-round pick, which could lead them to an offer sheet. You need to have your own you have to have your own picks to do an offer sheet, so Chicago getting theirs back, very interesting right there. So who knows? Well, who's even up for an offer sheet? I don't know off the top of my head right now, but Chicago is looking at guys like Mitch Marner and Mikko Rantanen, the big fish that are not signed right now, unrestricted free agents at 25. They would love to acquire one of those players. Maybe both, who knows? But now, for Chicago, they get out of Taylor Hall. He wasn't bringing it for them. He was a healthy scratch at times this season, and yeah, it's too bad, man. Like, Chicago, they're so desperate for any sort of talent to play with Connor Bedard, and yeah, they just kind of keep getting rid of them. Constantly, at least once a week, people bring up the Brandon Hagel trade. Like, why'd they get rid of Brandon Hagel? Why'd they get rid of DeBrincat? And yada, yada, yada. I don't know, man. I'm not in there. It was a dumb fucking move. It made no sense when they did it, but they did it. And it happened. So I think, Chicago's just kind of doing what they can right now. Try to get some assets where they can. And yeah, man, they get out of Taylor Hall's contract. I mean, I don't think they really had to, but they did. So, Chicago did something. There's really not much to say. I mean, yeah, they could have arguably gotten more. Pretty fucked up hearing that they didn't know what player they were retaining 50% on, because they're taking on more money because of Rantanen. If it was 50% of Taylor Hall's contract, it'd be like $3 million. With Rantanen, it's like $4 some odd million. So that's pretty fucked up. I would be rather upset if I was the Chicago GM. I would love to have known that information, but overall, man, I think, yes, Colorado gets slightly worse, I guess, like very slightly. I don't think it's I know Mikko Rantanen is like a top 5 player in the league, but I think Necas covers the scoring pretty well for what Rantanen is going to bring. It's that physicality and that playoff drive that Colorado is going to be missing. But who knows what Necas is going to bring for Colorado in the playoffs? Who knows what Jack Drury is going to bring for them in the playoffs? And who's to say it's a guarantee that Mikko Rantanen will be a playoff beast for Carolina? It went pretty well for them with Gensel last year, so could go very well for them this year. We will have to see, and we'll kind of have to wait and see who wins this trade. But as of today, Mikko Rantanen's the best player. Carolina got him, so they win the trade today. All right. There's another, these are very minor deals. I don't think we really have to talk about them. Justin Bailey got acquired by the Anaheim Ducks for Pavel Regenda. That happened. All right. I don't think there's really anything too crazy there. All right. Let's go over to the signings really quick. There have been a couple of interesting signings. Klingberg did get signed to Edmonton for 1 year. Don't know what the money is on that. But guess who's back? Back again. Tony DeAngelo's back yet again in the NHL. This time he is a New York Islander. Talked about that earlier. The Islanders a little light on the blue line right now, and they could use some help. So here comes Tony D. A little hard to get along with, but the dude can put in points in the NHL level. He's a good offensive defenseman. We'll see how long he can stick around this time, and behave yourself, goddammit. All right, Will Borgen, the guy that got traded to the Rangers for Jacob Trouba, right? No, it was Kako. So they locked him in for a 5-year deal, $4.1 million per season, $20 million and a half total. Damn, must be nice. Now, I've heard solid things about Borgen and his play with the Rangers, and the Rangers have been getting it together a little bbit here. Won't go too in-depth on the Rangers right now, but they've been playing better, and they got Will Borgen. Colin White signed an $850,000 deal with the San Jose Sharks, and we got a big one here with the Washington Capitals, a goaltender. We got... Is it Logan? Yeah, Logan Thompson signs a 6-year extension worth $5.85 million per season, $35.1 million total. So, the dreaded $5 million contract for a goaltender. Oh dear, this is rather going to go amazingly for the Capitals, or it's going to be a disaster. There's really no other way it can go in terms of these $5 million deals. If you land in between $5 and $6 million, it's crazy. There's been so many goalies that have signed this contract and have disappeared from the league in recent memory. And there's been other goalies that have signed a deal like that and have looked fantastic. Look at Igor Shesterkin. So does this deal end up leading to an $11 million extension for Thompson after this one? Probably not. But so far today seems good for the Capitals. Thompson has been sensational for them. But as I always say with goaltenders, it's risky locking these guys up, man. It is so risky. You don't know what you just don't know. I've seen Vezina winning goaltenders one year go turn to a pumpkin the next year. Jim Carrey, the net detective, won a Vezina and he was Dunyan rings. That was it. Fucking Andrew Raycroft won the Calder and he sucks. And like, come on now. This is ridiculous. But I mean, it's a small track record. It's a risky contract. I'm not going to lie. These contracts with goalies are always risky. Once you get the bag, man, the pressure's off. I'm paid. I have my money. I don't have to play for my financial security anymore until the final year of this deal. I'm good for 5 years. I don't have to fucking worry about it. They can waive me. They can do whatever they want to me. I'm getting my money. So that pressure's off. I think with goalies, unless you are, even the Shesterkin one, I was like, I don't know if I'm him. I don't know if I'm signing him that long. And I'd probably trade him, honestly. But with these deals, man, it's just so dang risky. It's so dang risky. You don't know what Thompson's going to bring next year. He could be trash next year. And then next thing you know, he's fucking on waivers and he's playing in the AHL. He's playing for Hershey. So who knows? But as it is right now, seems like it's okay. He's been great. Capitals have been great. And there you go. But if he turns into a pumpkin next year, I'm going to tell you, I fucking told us so, because it happens all the freaking time. And speaking of all the time, Ovechkin scores all the time and has now scored on the most different goaltenders of all time. He has scored on the most goalies. I mean, yeah, makes sense. You're on the way. You're so freaking close now. I think 20 goals away now, maybe even less for Ovechkin to catch and or break the record. I think it's 20 goals is all he needs. Can he get it this year? I'm kind of hoping he gets it early next season. I mean, it would be great if he got it this year. I don't care. He's going to do it, and that's all that matters. I actually heard someone say, like, oh, what would the celebration be on? The goal that ties the record or breaks it? I'm like, are you fucking insane? The one that breaks it. What are you talking about? Of course, like, oh my, who would blow the big celebration on tying the record? It's about breaking the record, baby. All right. But yeah, man, Ovechkin is very close to breaking this record. It's going to happen, man. I can't believe I'm actually going to see a Gretzky record go down. That is wild. So very cool. Washington has been playing outstandingly. They're at the tops of the league, man. They have just, I can't believe it. Like, their addition, Pierre-Luc Dubois recently has been playing very, very good. All their additions fucking nailed it, man. Freaking Chychrun, Thompson. Yeah, dude. Like, good for them, man. Very good for the Washington Capitals. I think we're going to see a lot more teams do the retooling instead of the full down rebuilds and stuff like that, because you look at, would you rather be, the Washington Capitals, where it's like, oh, we had a bit of a lean year, we'll change up some things, and then bam, we're best team in the league again? Or do you want to rip it all down, tear it all up, fucking just suffer for 5 years, hoping you get a generational player, and then even if you do get a generational player, it's no guarantee that you're gonna be a fucking Stanley Cup winning team. Like, Bedard hasn't changed it for Chicago all by himself. That's just not how things work. So it takes a lot of good drafting, a lot of lucky drafting, and just luck in general. You need a lot of luck. The Leafs, it took years of good drafting, and then they brought all the prospects in at the same time. That's why they made the playoffs. It took the whole league off guard. No one knew what to do with these players yet. And yeah, now it's over there in Chicago. It's just Bedard, and now he's been in the league for a couple years. He's got no assistants, and the leagues know what to do with him, and he's still playing great. So, I mean, Bedard is an amazing player. If Chicago fans are saying trade this guy, fucking insane. But yeah, man, it looks like it might go the way of Mario Lemieux that it did with him back in the day with Pittsburgh. They didn't make the playoffs with Lemieux for like the first 5-6 years that he was on the team, and it looks like easily Chicago is still 3, 4, 5 years away from making a run for a playoff run. Like, I don't even know, man. Could be less if they bring in a Rantanen or something. It might be like 3 years instead of 4. But yeah, dude, you need a little bit of luck, absolutely. But yeah, I think we're gonna see a change where teams are not full tear down rebuilds, because it just takes too freaking long now, man. No one wants to be the next Buffalo Sabres where you fail like 2 rebuilds in a row and you still haven't made the playoffs yet. Like, no one wants to have that embarrassment. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more retooling instead of full tear. We may never see a full teardown again after what Chicago was, because I think they just went too far. Easily they went too far. There was no reason to trade Hagel. There was no reason to trade away friggin' to Brinkat. You didn't have to trade away Panarin when you did, but you did. Yeah. So it's just a big old track record of mistakes for the Chicago Blackhawks. All right, let's go to, speaking of mistakes, let's go to Pittsburgh and Kyle Dubas. So Pittsburgh sucks again, and we're apparently going to have a fire sale, but they're not going to sell Crosby, Malkin, or Letang. So what's the fucking point? That's no new information from Kyle Dubas. You're in the exact same position. All the same players that were on the block are still there. And yeah, you're not willing to move off of Crosby, Malkin, or Letang, so you're in perpetual hell. That's all there really is to it, man. You guys don't have a goaltender. There's no prospects. It's an old team, and yeah, they're way past that retool portion where, like, I just don't think they have the assets to, like, oh, if we switch this out, we can turn things around. I think they're in a rebuild right now, whether they like it or not, even though they're fighting it tooth and nail to not do this rebuild, kicking and screaming, no, get away from us, last place, we don't want it. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be not a great time to be a Pittsburgh Penguin fan, and it's just gonna get even more lame, man. Like, they're gonna be probably not bad enough to be a lottery team, not good enough to be a playoff team. They might go on hot streaks that, oh, maybe we'll make it, and then they'll go on a nice cold streak right after that to shit all over your dreams and hopes. But, yeah, Kyle Dubas asking for a fire sale. I mean, go ahead. You can try and trade Erik Karlsson. Who's taking that? And again, it baffles me that they even brought Erik Karlsson in the first place. You already had Letang. It made no fucking sense. And it has gone exactly how people would predict it. Didn't go well. So good luck, Kyle Dubas, in your so-called fire sale. And, yeah, we're probably never going to see Crosby, Malkin, or Letang traded. I don't know. It would have to get, I don't know. It's already been pretty bad, and they still haven't asked for out. So I don't know. Speaking of I don't know who Sweden's goalie is going to be at the Four Nations Cup. Jacob Markstrom is injured, Samuel Ersson is injured, and they have more injuries that aren't in net. Also, William Karlsson is injured. So there's a lot of Swedish players right now being injured, and who the fuck is going to be in net? Markstrom's out for like 4 to 6 weeks, and we'll get to New Jersey in a second here, but what the fuck's going to happen with Sweden, man? There's a lot of injuries right now. Who's another Swedish goaltender? Is Philip Gustafsson Swedish? He would be a pretty good option. You can't go wrong with that. You can't absolutely go wrong, but that's a good one. Yeah, whatever. You'll be fine. I don't even know if that guy's Swedish or not, but yeah, that's definitely a situation. And there's other injuries around the Four Nations. Alex Pietrangelo has bowed out of the Four Nations tournament. He wants to do a little, cleanup. He doesn't have any injuries that are necessarily keeping him out of the lineup for Vegas, but he's got an abundance of, bruises and just soreness that he would like the 2 weeks to heal up those things and be more prepared for Vegas and their Stanley Cup run that is going to happen this year, instead of playing in a tournament that, yeah, it's fun and cool and everything, but he doesn't have to do it. And I don't know if there is punishment. I don't know if they've determined that yet. If he, similar to how Ovechkin's like, I'm not going to the All-Star game, fuck you. And they're like, all right, 1 game suspension. He's like, deal, better than going. So, like, yeah, maybe they do the same thing to Pietrangelo. Like, okay, if you can play and you're not willing to play in this, then, like, 1 game suspension, I guess. I don't know. They may not do anything to him. I mean, why? Like, you got tons of replacements. I mean, there's so many Canadian defensemen. You got Noah Dobson. I want Chris Tanev. Absolutely. I cannot believe they have not put Chris Tanev on Team Canada, but he's the best defensive defenseman in the league. Like, you don't need every defenseman on Team Canada to be a puck-moving offensive defenseman. There's plenty of offense on Team Canada. Let's get a pure defensive defenseman, shot-blocking machine. Like, let's get some of that in there. I absolutely would love for Tanev. Weegar in Calgary would be a great option. He seems to be the front runner. They've talked about Noah Dobson, but he's injured. I preferably would take Weegar or Tanev over Noah Dobson on Team Canada. You don't need more of that. You need some defensive defensemen right there, because someone's going to have to play it. Like, someone who is a puck-moving, offensively minded defenseman is going to have to play more defensively minded. Like, so we'll see what happens there. But that also shakes up the chemistry of the built-in lines already. They had Pietrangelo and Shea Theodore, I think, on a pairing that they play together on Vegas. So built-in chemistry right there. That's going to get shaken up. And there was another pair that was together. Is it Taves and Makar? I think those two are together. I don't think there's anything wrong there, but yeah, it's going to shake up the chemistry a little bit, I guess. But up and not having Pietrangelo, that's going to hurt, man. That guy is a gamer. He is amazing in the big game scenarios. And yeah, that one is going to hurt Team Canada. I mean, I don't think they're going to win the tournament, honestly, anyway. But there are believers that, hey, it's only 4 teams. Anyone can win, honestly. Finland can win, Sweden. I'm not counting those teams out either. I think the U.S. is the favorite, but yeah, that's going to hurt the Canada blue line a little bit. But again, ever since the team announcements, the guys that got snubbed really have been turning it on. So I wouldn't mind maybe having one or two of those very fired up, wanting to prove the world wrong kind of guys on my lineup, and that may not be a bad idea. So we'll see. We'll see which guy gets picked. There's still a bit of time before we get to the tournament. Could be lots more injuries and all that stuff. So nothing's official until we get to the tournament, but pretty cool. All right, let's go back to New Jersey now. So Jacob Markstrom is out 4 to 6 weeks. That is bad, very bad. And on top of that, New Jersey just hasn't been playing very well lately. They have lost a lot of games, like a lot of games. Like, since December 28th, they are 4-10. I don't know about overtime and shootout and shit like that, but they have won 4 games and lost 10. That is not good. If you keep that up, that is not a way. You could easily fall out of the playoffs with that kind of shit. So, and with Markstrom going out, that is not good either. So, what the hell's going to happen with New Jersey? They have a pretty good, they're 28, 18, and 6, third place in the Metro right now. Yeah, man, it's going to be rough. It's going to be a bit of a challenge to get through there, but they have Jake Allen. I mean, Jake Allen is a good goaltender in short bursts, but that's not really a short burst now, is it? 4 to 6 weeks. So that's going to hurt. And we'll see if New Jersey is able to hang on here, because thank goodness they had that hot start, because they have been doing a lot of losing in January, and they got to get the hell out of it. And losing your top goaltender definitely isn't going to help, but we will keep an eye on New Jersey and see if they can get out of that slump. And speaking of getting out of that slump, frickin' Brady Tkachuk finally gets out of a 10-game pointless streak drought, and he scores a goal the other night, thankfully, for the Ottawa Senators. So, with that being said, Ottawa, without that guy getting a lot of points, they have been losing some games, and they are getting shut out alarmingly a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times they have been shut out in January. So that is bad. Ottawa is shriveling up a little bit here offensively, not having one of your best offensive forwards. Scoring anything in those 10 games definitely sucks. But they've also shut out teams too. 1, 2 times they have shut out teams in January. So if they don't score, I guess they don't. I don't know. But geez, Ottawa, they're playing a little bit inconsistently here. You got a 4-game losing streak with a 3-game winning streak. 1 loss, 2 wins, 2 loss, 2 wins. So they're still hanging around in there. Let me take a look at the old freaking, what do you McCollums there? The standings, if you will. And oh my little goodness, the Ottawa Senators are currently, as of me recording this, in a playoff spot. And they're not even in a wild card spot, bro. They jumped the Bruins. They jumped the Lightning. They're in 3rd place in the Atlantic. Oh my goodness. 56 points. Yeah. Oh man. That is really cool. That's really cool, man. Hey, good job, Ottawa, man. Good job from Ottawa. I know that Marilainen goaltender has kept their heads above water while Allmark has been dealing with injuries, but Senators got to figure out how to start scoring again. They had no problem scoring early in the year. They were on fuego. They were on fire. But oh my good, I cannot believe this. I am shocked right now. I was not expecting to see the Ottawa Senators there. I was looking. I was like, where are they? I can't find them. Are they at the bottom of the league? And no, they're up here in a 3rd place Atlantic spot. I can't believe that. That is awesome. Screw you, Bruins. And they have 2 games in hand on the Bruins, so that's good. The Lightning have a game in hand on them, but that's fine, man. That is good. They're currently tied with the Bruins and the Lightning. Blue Jackets are 55 points right behind them. Red Wings and Canadiens, 53 points right behind them. And watch out, everybody. The New York Rangers are trying to do something. They got 52 points, and the Flyers are still hanging around 52 points. Islanders are on a winning streak right now. So, no one's really, really dead until you get to the Buffalo. Oh, my God, Buffalo, what happened? 43 points. You're dead. You're done. No chance. Oh, Buffalo, that is so depressing. And the Penguins look like they're pretty fucking Dunyan rings too right now. Wow. Yikes. Hey, man, I am so happy for the Senators. I want a Battle of Ontario. I would love for that to happen. I just don't want the Bruins to make it, man. I want new teams in there. I would rather see Detroit, Montreal, someone else in there aside from the freaking Bruins. Just bleh. And even the Lightning. Lightning could use a freaking year out of the playoffs every once in a while, huh? How about that? If Columbus makes the freaking playoffs, that would be insane. That would be so freaking cool, man. That would be such an amazing story. I think it's an amazing story alone that they're still in the hunt. They're right behind the Lightning and the Bruins, man. They're right there, and that's amazing. That is absolutely sensational. So good job from the Ottawa Senators. They're still hanging in there. Good work from y'all. But another team that is going to need some good work while one of their superstars is out is the Minnesota Wild. Kirill Kaprizov will be down for 4 to 6 weeks. I believe he has to have surgery done, a lower body injury here, but that's bad. That's very bad. We know how important Kaprizov is to the Minnesota Wild. Yeah, man, but they're holding on, 29, 17 and 3, 3rd place in the Central. I don't think we have to worry about the potential of them missing the playoffs. They may slip down to a wild card spot. I still think it's just that, Colorado's coming up. It's a very strong, the top teams in the West are very much so the top teams. But Minnesota, if they can hang in there without their top point getter, he's the top in goals, top in assists and points, plus minus. Geez, what doesn't this guy do? Does he play net too? That's going to suck, though. That's absolutely going to suck not having Kaprizov there. And it's going to be for a while. Let me see what kind of teams they got coming up and how have they been doing lately. They beat Chicago, that's good, and then they lost a couple of games in a row there. So they got thankfully, they're playing the Leafs tonight, and the Leafs, in general fashion, when the Leafs get a gift in the form of the best player on their opposing team not being there, they tend to not show up and just let the other team win. So Minnesota will win 18-0 tonight, and that's just how that's going to go. No, I don't know. I don't know who the hell's going to win. It should be the Leafs, but when the Leafs should win, they generally don't. So I will not be surprised regardless, that's a tough. That's not a great team you want to go up against right now in the Leafs. Defensively stout. Stolarz should be back here pretty soon. He's been skating around, and yeah, man, the Leafs are at top of their league, atop the Atlantic right now. Will they stay there? I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't really want. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, man. I've already done this. It doesn't matter what position they are in the league. It doesn't matter what opponent they get. They've blown it against every opponent possible. Columbus, Montreal, Boston a zillion times, Tampa Bay. It doesn't matter who they get. You had a gift in Montreal, you blew it. You had a gift in Columbus, you blew it. So I don't care. That's not a thing for me. I don't care. I don't get worried. I'm the same level of worried when any team is going up against the Leafs in the playoffs. You could put the San Jose Sharks in the playoffs and play them against the Leafs today, and I would be nervous for the Leafs because I don't know, man. Yeah, you just don't know what the Leafs are going to do in the playoffs other than choke. That's really the only thing that you can guarantee will happen. All right. So hopefully they don't choke tonight against the Wild. Should be a win. Their last few games have been just dog shit for the Leafs, man. Like, I watched the Ottawa game, terrible. Watched the Columbus game, terrible. Like, oh, man, I got to stop watching their freaking games. Every time I watch them, they play terribly. Ugh. I mean, they didn't play terribly against Columbus. It just got goalied as fuck, but just of course. Those are always, every time I sit my ass down to watch the game, I get a freaking game where the Leafs get 1,000 shots and no freaking goals, and then everything's going in on their end. Ugh. Sometimes it's hard being a Hockey fan. Okay, let's move on. Let's get back. Okay, hold on. Did I miss anything? Probably, but I think we're okay. Let's go back to the NHL's quarter century teams. We did a majority of them last episode, so if you missed a lot of that, make sure you go back and do that. So we finished last time with the Vancouver Canucks. Trying to find them. There they are. We got them. All right, so we continue now with the New Jersey Devils. The Devils. First team, Patrick Elias. All right. Jack Hughes and Zach Parise. Oh, wow. Zach Parise up there, eh? I mean, he was a damn good Devil. He really was. Defense. Scott Niedermayer, Scott Stevens, the Scots. No problem there. Absolutely. And in net, Corey Schneider. I'm just kidding. It's Martin Brodeur, everybody. Of course. Of course it's Martin Brodeur. You know, I think I'm okay with that. Like, maybe Scott Gomez up there instead of Parise, but I'm really not too upset about that one. Second team, Scott Gomez, Jamie Langenbrunner, and Travis Zajac. I like that they put Zajac there. Give that guy his due. I am struggling to think of other guys. Like Kovalchuk was there for a cup of coffee, but is that enough? Scott Gomez, absolutely. Jamie Langenbrunner, absolutely. Defense. You got Andy Green and Brian Rafalski. I'm not very familiar with Andy Green's time with the Devils. Brian Rafalski, yeah, he was great. And in net, Corey Schneider. Now, sadly, Corey Schneider didn't have, like, the greatest run with New Jersey, but when he first got there, he was pretty damn good, just injuries. Corey Schneider's one of my favorites. I love that guy. He's so freaking funny. I love him. But, yeah, I'm not offended by this. I'm trying to think of other goalies. After Martin Brodeur, who the hell did they have? I don't know. They got Markstrom and Allen now, so that's all I know. All right, let's go to the Detroit Red Wings. Oh, this is going to be disgusting. Oh, my goodness. First team. Oh, I don't know about that. All right, Pavel Datsyuk, Steve Yzerman, Stevie Y, and Hendrik Zetterberg. All right, I don't know if I can have Sergei Fedorov down there, bro. I don't know. I would probably go, I'm probably going Fedorov over Zetterberg. Not gonna lie, Pavel Datsyuk, one of the greats. Stevie Y, that's the homie. I think I would have to put down Fedorov there instead. Sorry, Zetterberg, you were great too, man. So handsome. Defense, Nicholas Kronwall, the Kronwall, and Nicholas Lidstrom, the Nicholases. Yep, Lidstrom, 100%. Who else is... Oh, Chelios, though. Over Nick Kronwall? I'll take Kronwall, okay. But, like, you know, Chelios in his prime, though. Oh, way more over Kronwall. But I'll take the, you know, this is old Chelios here on Detroit. Now, how I'm generally doing this, I just look at the player's name and I just go, prime. Whatever you were, wherever you, it doesn't matter where you were, just, if I see this player's name, I'm just thinking, okay, them in their prime, boom. So, and then Chris Osgood in net. That one I have a little bit of an issue with. You have Dominic Hasek on the second team. You cannot do that. Dominic Hasek, I don't care if he was only there for a year or something, he's there. And I know Chris Osgood is the man, bro. He was so underrated, so underappreciated, and just chirped unnecessarily hard. Like, oh, you're fucking on this amazing team. And blah, blah, blah. No, he was awesome. Chris Osgood absolutely deserves to be there, but on the second team, in my opinion. The Dominator is always a first team. There's no goaltender better than him. All right, second team, instead of Fedorov, I'm putting Zetterberg, but they have Fedorov, Dylan Larkin, and Brendan Shanahan. Okay, thinking about some forwards there. Dylan Larkin's really, really good. It's just, he's after the amazing Red Wings teams. Fedorov, obviously, but Zetterberg, yeah. Brendan Shanahan, oh, man. Yeah, he was pretty fucking awesome. Chris Chelios and Brian Rafalski on the defense. Rafalski on back-to-back teams. I'm fine with that. Oh, what other defense did they have there, though? I feel like they had some pretty big names there, but we all know it's Lidstrom, Kronwall. I don't really have anything. And then Dominic Hasek, we'll switch that with Chris Osgood, and I'm Osgood with that. All right. New York Islanders. First team. Josh Bailey, Brock Nelson, and John Tavares. On defense, you got Nick Leddy, Adam Pelech, and in net, it's Ilya Sorokin. Now, there is not a lot to pick from here in the Islanders during this quarter century. They were generally awful. Very awful. Oh my god, that is so funny, though. They don't even have Rick DiPietro on their second team. That's hilarious. They're still paying him, I do believe. Regardless, Josh Bailey, pretty good. Brock Nelson, pretty good, underrated. John Tavares, that's legit. That's legit right there. Nick Leddy and Adam Pelech. Not Pulick? Not gonna put Pulick out there? I would put Pulick up there over Nick Leddy. I mean, Nick Leddy was a good point-producing defenseman, but that combination of Pulick-Pelech, defensive defenseman combo, that's what I'm going with. And Sorokin, absolutely. He is phenomenal. Second team. Shockingly, Matthew Barzal's on second team. I'm putting him on first team over Josh Bailey. Anders Lee and Franz Nielsen. All right, yeah, Anders Lee, good goal scorer. Franz Nielsen, pretty good pace. I'm putting Matthew Barzal on the first team. No, I can't over Josh Bailey. No, I can't do it. On defense, Kenny Johnson and Ryan Pulick. So I'd pull down Nick Leddy, put up Pulick. I don't really know who Kenny Johnson is. I don't remember him very well. And then Semyon Varlamov as the backup on the second team. Yeah, I'm good with that. Kind of funny that's not DiPietro. He doesn't deserve it, but I figured they would just put him in there just because they still pay him. Anyway, yeah, that's a very weak quarter-century team right there. Arguably the weakest. All right, baby. Ottawa. Let's go first team. It has to be Danny Alfredson, Danny Heatley, and Jason Spezza. Can I argue that? They have Marian Hossa there. Marian Hossa was a fucking amazing player, man. Mark Stone is too. But that combination, though, that Alfredson, Heatley, Spezza line in their prime, bro, 100 points each. Like, they were so nasty together. I don't know if I can take them off. So I'll leave it. Danny Heatley, fucking all-star. Defense. You have Erik Karlsson and Wade Redden. All right, Wade Redden on the Sens was very, very good. So good, in fact, they chose him over Zdeno Chara. And that went very poorly for the Ottawa Senators. But at the time, didn't look all that crazy. It was a little crazy, but not that crazy. It turned out to be absolutely asininely in craziness. But yeah, Wade Redden was pretty damn good. Regardless, I might even take both of those defensemen, Chara and Chris Phillips. I might take both of them over him. But Wade Redden was really good in his prime there, though. He just dropped off. And then Craig Anderson and net, absolutely. You could have Allmark in there right now, and I don't think people would be all that upset. But Craig Anderson, absolutely. I'm good with that. I can argue with Wade Redden. Second team. You got Marian Hossa, Mark Stone, and Brady Tkachuk. Holy fuck, that is a nasty line. That is so nasty. You would never have the puck playing those guys. That's really good, man. And defense, you got Chara and Phillips. Oh, that's there would be never a goal scored on this line, period. There's nothing would happen unless you get a shot on Patrick Lalime, who is in net for them. If you shoot 5-hole, it's going in. Patrick Lalime. Oh, man, I remember this guy so very well. He had Marvin the Martian on his helmet. I loved it. I really like Patrick Lalime, man. He just could not get her done in the playoffs. He was a good regular season goalie. Terrible. Damn near unplayable in the playoffs. And thank you for that, letting in those easy goals for us all the way back in 2004. Thank you. Yeah, man, that's a good little team right there. Aside from, it just goes to show you that they really haven't had a lot of goalies in Ottawa. They could have put Dominic Hasek there. He was there for a year. He was great. Ray Emery. Boy, who else was there? Yeah, outside of that, I don't think there's really anyone better, but they had some other goalies there as well. All right, we got the New York Rangers. And then, okay, yeah, we got quite a few more to go. All right, Chris Kreider on the first team for forwards. Artemi Panarin and Mika Zibanejad. Okay. They have Jaromir Jagr on the second team. Not on my fucking watch. Chris Kreider's going down. Jaromir Jagr up. Jagr, Panarin, Zibanejad. Yummy. And they got Adam Fox, Ryan McDonough. 1-2. Oh my god. That would be so good. That would be such a good pair. Oh, and Henrik Lundqvist in net, of course. Absolutely. No problems there. I mean, you could argue Igor, but not yet. I think it's still Henrik Lundqvist's net. All right, second team, Jaromir Jagr, you're fucking crazy. That's Chris Kreider, Derek Stepan, and Mats Zuccarello. With Dan Girardi and Mark Stahl on the back end there, eh? And they really haven't had all that many defensemen, eh? You didn't want to put Trouba there? You didn't want to do it, eh? All right. I guess not. Mark Stahl, I think I'd take Trouba over Mark Stahl, man, honestly. Dan Girardi was pretty good. He was pretty good. He fell off pretty hard, but he was pretty good. And then Igor Shesterkin in net. Yeah, I'll take Trouba over Mark Stahl. Other than that, pretty good. I'm trying to think of they have Panarin there. What other kind of forwards do they have? Not many, I guess. Not too many. All right, no, that's okay. They were, yeah. All right, San Jose Sharks. Here we go. First team. Patrick Marleau, Joe Pavelski, and Joe Thornton. The Joes. Hell yeah, that's looking good. Looking down there. You got Owen Nolan down there, though. Oh. Is he better than Joe Thornton, Pavelski, or Marleau? Owen Nolan maybe over Patrick Marleau. I could do that. I could see that. I could be down with that. Defense, you got Brett Burns and Mark-Edward Vlasic. Yeah, man, even though Vlasic has fallen off of a cliff and he's not the player that he was when he signed that contract, but he was a Team Canada defenseman. He was an amazing defensive defenseman. Just gets paid too much now. But Brett Burns, bro, in San Jose, he was so fucking good. So good. And Evgeny Nabokov. Oh, fuck yeah, man. I loved Evgeny Nabokov. Such a great goaltender. Absolutely fine with that. Other than Owen Nolan, pretty good right there. Second team. Logan Couture, Thomas Hertl, and Owen Nolan. So, yeah, Logan Couture, he's great. Thomas Hertl, not there no more, but he was great. Trying to think of other guys that were there. What about Cheechoo? There's no Cheechoo. No Cheech. All right. Dan Boyle and Erik Karlsson on the back end. I mean, Erik Karlsson did have a 100-point season for them, so I can... All right, and Dan Boyle was there for a very long time. Can't really think of any other defensemen. And Martin Jones in net there as well. Oh, man, he wasn't there that long, was he? Oh, well. All right, we'll take him. We'll take Martin Jones. Pretty good. Tampa Bay. No, I know there's problems here. Tampa Bay, first team, Nikita Kucherov, Steven Stamkos, and Martin St. Louis. Yeah, I can't really argue with that one there. I really can't. Dan Boyle and Victor Hedman on the blue line. I'm probably taking Ryan McDonough, not going to lie, over Dan Boyle. Victor Hedman, absolutely. And Andre Vasilevsky in net. All right, we're mostly good. I would take McDonough over Boyle. And second team, Vinny Lecavalier. We got Braden Point and Brad Richards. Yeah, man, Brad Richards was a monster for them. He was fantastic. Vinny Lecavalier, 100-point guy, 50 goal scorer. Braden Point, 50 goal scorer. An absolute beast. I'm good. Pavel Kubina and Ryan McDonough. So no Sergachev, no, who else was back there back then? Paul Ranger, everybody, come on. All right, Pavel Kubina, we'll take him, but here's my problem. Ben Bishop. Where the fuck is the Bulin wall? Where is Nikolai Havibulin? Come on now. That guy won a Stanley Cup for them. You have to put him there. I'm sorry, Ben Bishop. No. It's not you. It's Nikolai Havibulin. How could they fuck that one up? That's a major issue. The homie Jesse brought that one to my attention, and yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you, my friend. Nikolai Havibulin absolutely deserves to be on that second team. All right, we got the Nashville Predators. This should be pretty lean. We got Mike Fisher, Philip Forsberg, and Paul Kariya. Wow, all right. Roman Josi and Shea Weber with Pekka Rinne. All right, defense and the goalie, completely fine. No problem there. And then you have, okay, so Paul Kariya. If I'm playing by my rules, we got prime Paul Kariya here, even though he wasn't prime Paul Kariya when he was there. Fine. Yes, he is better than those guys down there. All right, fine. All right. Second team, Ryan Johansson, David Legwand, and Steve Sullivan with Matthias Ekholm and Kimmo Timonen. Whoa, you're not going to put Ryan Suter down there over Kimmo Timonen? Ah, that's fucked up. I'm putting Suter there, sorry. And UC Saros, yeah, absolutely. Kimmo Timonen, you fucking on crack? No, that's Ryan Suter's spot right there. Those forwards, sure, they haven't really had a lot of high-end skilled talent on their team, so sure. We got the LA Kings. First team, Dustin Brown, Jeff Carter, and Anze Kopitar with Drew Doughty, Alec Martinez, and Jonathan Quick in net. Oh, okay. Dustin Brown got an issue here. He was great in his prime, one of the best power forwards in the game at the time, but Adrian Kempe, that dude's a bona fide 40-goal scorer, an absolute stud. I'm taking him over Dustin Brown. My apologies. Drew Doughty, Alec Martinez over, I don't know who the fuck those guys are, so sure. And Jonathan Quick, absolutely. Guys unfucking believable. Second team, Adrian Kempe. No, we'll make that Dustin Brown. Ziggy Palffy and Justin Williams. I do not remember much about Ziggy Palffy other than his name is wicked. Justin Williams, Mr. Clutch, Mr. Stanley Cup, and all that shit. There's got to be someone. What about Mike Richards, man? What about Mike Richards? He was pretty good there. Didn't they have Gabrick? Gabrick was there. Could be. Okay. Defense, you have Matthias Nordstrom and Lubomir Wisnowski. I remember Wisnowski's name, but these guys don't really shout out like all-star defensemen to me. And then Felix Potvin in that. All right. That was way back he was there. So, I'm trying to think, who did they have before Quick? I don't remember. La Barbara? Is that a name? I don't know. All right, Felix Potvin, the cat, absolutely. We'll do it. Oh, shit, that's it. Oh, all right, we're done. Cool. All right, well, I don't think that's all of them. There'll still be some more. We'll just keep going until they release all of them. But, yeah, there we go, everybody. What an episode. Can't believe that trade went down. What do you guys think about that trade? Is Carolina a bona fide Stanley Cup contender now? What about Colorado? Are they still in the hunt? Or do you think now without Rantanen, they are nothing? They are nothing without Rantanen. We'll have to wait and see, man. It's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks. See if JT Miller ends up somewhere. Maybe Elias Pettersson. And, yeah, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be big, and we'll just keep our eyes on all the news and see what's going on. But other than that, that will do it for me, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. You the best. You want to be even more of the best, though. Make sure you're... Oh, my God, drop my phone a little bit. If you want to be more of the best, make sure you're reviewing and liking the podcast. Share it around with a few thousand of your friends, maybe a couple enemies. Why not? And, yeah, in terms of what else we got going on with the podcast this week, I should be doing my Switch 2... wish list / what we know, and I'm just going to be talking about the Switch 2 and all that shit. If it's not that, then I'll be doing a Nine Souls review, but should be the Switch 2 wish list this week on the GamerCast. Got the WrestleCast going to be crazy this weekend. Oh my God, we got the Royal Rumble, baby, and this is shaking up to looks like it's going to be one of the craziest Rumbles in a while, man. This Rumble is stacked. There are so many big names. I have no idea who's going to win. It's going to be CM Punk, but I have no idea what's going to happen at this Rumble. It's going to be wild, so we're going to have the review for that along with the weekly recap. And yeah, man, it's going to be wild. Maybe next week we have a big JT Miller trade to discuss. But other than that, we'll keep our eyes on the hockey and make sure you are sticking around with the GX Plus cast. I upload all of these episodes to the YouTube channel Gamer GX Videos. The link is in the description. Go over there, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment on one of the videos. If you want a question answered live on the podcast, send in anything about wrestling, hockey, or video games, and I'll shout you out, answer your question, all that great stuff. So there we go, everybody. One more time, thank you so much for listening. We'll be back again with some GX Plus cast.